hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows. Well, hello and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back here to Slow Motion Broadcasting, and welcome back to the Formula V Weekend Warriors. This is round number 10 of this season, coming to you today from Oulton Park. My name is Ron Maunz. Alongside me in the commentary booth, working the comms and the cams, is Joshua Wilkie. Well, Josh, this is far from the first time we've been to Oulton Park. I feel like I've said that about a lot of racetracks that we've been at thus far this season, but I always enjoy this venue. It's an old school British track with some old school race cars. Whenever we have that combination, it always feels like some kind of match made in heaven.
Yeah, absolutely, Ron. This is an excellent track. I think a lot of the drivers really like it out here. It's a fun, kind of slingy, fast, old sports car track. I believe this is the chicane layout as well, so we will be having some issues out there for sure. Not an easy spot to get a pass done, but a place that people like to try to get passes done. Very hard to execute them, though. Yeah, so I think we're going to have an excellent race around here. Not exactly, you know, kind of maybe the most standard track for these cars, but it always seems to race around here really well. So I'm looking forward to it, Ron.
Yeah, it is going to be a fun one. This track was the host of our first ever Weekend Warriors broadcast together all the way back in Season 4 of 2024. That does not feel like a long time ago until I remember that it was, in fact, a long time ago. Currently in the midst of qualifying right now. We got drivers out there on the circuit looking to put in some good times, but still very early on in this broadcast. So, as always, we would like to thank the sponsors that make these broadcasts possible. That here this week being Wayne Buttermore and BFI Consulting. Thank you, Wayne. Long-time Weekend Warriors and Ray Esports member and driver. Nice to always see him out here on the racetrack every single Saturday here on SMB. And you'll, of course, be able to tune into the action here for all three of the Weekend Warriors series here this week. And, of course, you've got yourselves the Formula Vs here at the moment. The Formula Fords are going to be returning for round number 10 at Circuit Navarra in less than 24 hours time, and in about 24 hours time you'll be able to catch the 10th round of the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors. But for now, we switch our attention in talking about these Formula Vs in this qualifying session that we are in the midst of. This track is a bit of a silent task for these competitors. 17 turns in all, unassuming in the British countryside, but this racetrack absolutely packs a punch. And to underscore that, Josh, will you potentially be able to run us through this place?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So, this is probably one of the longer straights we're going to be dealing with here. Not exactly a straight. You might be able to get up alongside someone here, but then you're going to have to deal with T1. And T1 really, really filters down into one line. You need to get this line right. Really, really easy to run an off track here. We'll see if Wayne Buttermore is going to make that one look real easy, not use the whole track quite yet. Coming down into T2, not really much of a corner here. You're pretty flat. And then another really important corner to get this just right. This is probably your longest straight on the, or second longest straight on the course, and maybe a spot again where you're going to be able to get up alongside. But usually it's in just enough time to kind of meet this left-hander here. And this is, again, another spot you don't necessarily want to go too wide through. It's going to be slow. It's a little bit risky. And then into this big bowled-out right-hander here, one of my favorite corners. You can really tuck the car in to that camber on the inside there and take a little more speed than you think you need on entry to get that good exit. And then we're going to come out here on the exit. A little bit of a right-hander here into our first chicane. This is a pretty deadly chicane. That first curb, you definitely have to take a bunch of it to get it right. You're really flirting with the barriers around here to make sure that you're going to get that lap time out of the lap. And obviously the closer you get to the barrier, the better the lap time, but the more risky it is. And we're going to get into the second chicane. I've always found this chicane a little bit easier to manage, but the exit is going to be extremely important here. This is probably the longest on throttle section of the course, although it's not totally flat. It's pretty close. And again, this is going to be a spot that it's tempting to get up alongside your competitor here and see if you can't maybe make a run down into probably the most technical part of this course here. Very counterintuitive section where you kind of have to, you got to hit this apex here. You want to kind of lay off the throttle a bit and then hit that apex as well. Very easy to get kind of slung wide there and miss that second apex and not get the optimal lap time. This corner you're probably thinking about all lap. Not an easy one to get woed up for. You have a bit of a rise and then it falls away again. Really easy spot to lose the rear of the car, and that's a lap around Oulton Park here. Wayne Buttermore making it look pretty easy there.
Yeah, so saying a 2-minute 1.072, one of the longer laps that we have got in terms of lap time, but not in terms of distance. Only 2.69 miles. Nice around here. 17 turns in all makes it a very stop-starty racetrack, though. So even though you've got some long flat-out blasts, going to be a tricky race for these competitors. We currently, though, have Darmaid Toomey and Andy Middleton up towards the front of the field. Toomey, the Irishman, putting in a good lap time right now, and Andy Middleton, the Brit, looking to impress here on his home soil. Another driver that we should definitely keep our eyes out for if he's here with us today, which I'm not entirely sure if he is. I'm going to look through right now. Tortello is here with us. He's out there on the racetrack right now to get through the first sector of his qualifying lap. Now, he's raced here before, and he's raced here several occasions, of course, here in the V, so he's going to be quick as Guido jumping up to the top there. Right as we're talking about Tor Guido stealing the thunder.
Wow, Guido these days has had some pace in that fart machine for sure. So, I mean, he's taken a win or two this year. He's been in part of the conversation in basically every single race. Had a few, a few anvils kind of have hit him this season as well, but he's been a lot more pointy this year. A little bit more aggressive. I remember saying maybe it was last season, might even been in the beginning of this season, that Guido just needs to get a little bit more aggressive. He seems to have the pace, but he's always just kind of hanging out. He wasn't really going for those moves that you wanted to see him go for, and he's starting to do it now, and it looks like he's getting some pace as well. So, you know, those two things are going to be a dangerous combo around here. It should be a pretty good one between this top three here. We will see if Darmeed here can pop one in, and Andy Middleton as well. I mean, we're talking, they're thousands of seconds off each other here, Ron. So, you know, if you were to take a picture of them overhead and you could overlay all three cars, they would be a nose ahead of each other, barely even. So we're talking very similar laps here. We should have a pretty good race, I think. We get our class leaders up here. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, perfect time for me to have water go down the wrong pipe. Stand by.
Oh, sorry. That's okay. I'll take over here. We got our class leaders. DeGassis holding it down for the Masters so far. Westcott is going to be holding it down for our Spec 2s. We do have a new Spec 2 driver as well, and a Canadian, Tasha Gorbanov here is as well. Not put a time in quite yet. Sitting back in 18th beside Jason Grider here, but we'll keep an eye on that driver today as well, Ron, and see what kind of times they can put in.
You ever cough so hard that you start sweating? That's the situation that I find myself in right now.
Oh, no.
Golly. Guido Marzuki just jumped up to the pole once again, improving on his previous lap time, now down to a 158.444, holding on to a comfortable margin, somewhat comfortable margin, over Darmeed 2 with Andy Middleton about a tenth of a second farther behind from there in P3. Tortello rounds out your top four. Alan DeGassis, your top qualifier at the moment of the Masters Racers, is slotted in P7 now as Ethan Orr, who's popped back in here into this series. We didn't see him for a decent period of time, but he's back now, and nice to see him out there on the racetrack. Just jumped up to 5th, puts DeGassis down into P7 as Kurt Nunez, who we were following a few moments ago, is right there in tow in P8. Here is Ethan Orr, the driver of the number 22 car, past winner in these races as well. Always a good driver to kind of keep our eyes on. He's one that can keep it quick, run the thunder, and he also was in a very exclusive club of Spec 2 drivers to win a race overall. He did a couple of seasons ago at Thruxton in, I think, the Formula V Weekend Warriors only ever appearance there. Very quick driver at these draft-heavy racetracks. Very quick on the British racetrack, so keep an eye on Ethan Orr to maybe impress today. Yeah,
absolutely. It's been a little while since we've seen him, and you know, he's really putting in some fast laps and stuff the last few times that we did see him here in the orange and maybe a little bit lighter orange. Maybe you can call that yellow, I guess. Car kind of looks like a candy corn, if you ask me. It's the number 22 candy corn car. Is pretty quick out there. It's 6th place so far, so it's been a little while since he's been in the machinery, perhaps. Maybe going to shake a little rust off here at Oulton Park perhaps today, but we'll see how it goes here. Jorg Manny just ahead of him now, first Masters driver with a just about, oh, you know what, I have the wrong times up here, Ron. I'm a little bit tired this morning. You know, I should mention I did the Bathurst 12-hour last night with a couple of our SME colleagues there, J.R. Gregory and William Wolf, and we were actually able, believe it or not, to pull off a 7th place today. So not too bad here. I'm just going to show a little picture of our 911 from TW3 Paints here. Yeah, we were able to keep it pretty clean and actually pulled out a 7th place. Probably could have had a podium, but we had a little incident kind of mid-race there, but it was a good one. But man, oh man, I am extremely tired today, so we'll see how this goes. I'll try to not get too delirious here while we are going. I've already missed the best times, but that's Ethan Orr going to shut her down here for the rest of this session. Only got a few minutes left now to try to get those laps in. Brian Hansen out for a lap here. Not doing so good so far, back here in 15th place, but I would imagine he's about to pip one in right about now.
This is a very odd set of circumstances we got right now. Josh, you're tired to the point of maybe being slightly delirious, and I just hacked up a lung. We are doing great at the moment here on this show. Guido Marzuki still your pole sitter. Jason Grider finally able to get a lap time on the board in that 552 car. Getting to the end of this qualifying session, though, so may get the opportunity to, I was just going to bring in Wayne Butterworth to have a little chat, but I just see that he left the area that we could drag him in through. So we'll take a quick gander at the championship points as we have the opportunity to, trying to crack through this as quickly as we can to let you know about the storylines that have developed through what has been a quite exciting campaign here in Season 1 of 2026 up to this point. And we'll start, as always, by taking a look at Spec 1, where Tortello sits atop of the championship tally right now. Guido has been able to close up slightly, but Tor is certainly the championship favorite at this point in the season. Darmaid Toomey is slotted in third, good season for him in the number 13 car. Michelle Lynn is slotted in fourth, with Andy Middleton completing her top 5 in class. We'll take a look now at Spec 2, where things have been even more up in the air. The Spec 2 category, always one that you can never really pin down until we get a little bit later on in the season. Jason Grider sits atop of the points there with Stephen Westcott, Brian Hansen, Dan Szynski, and Angel Soto completing your top 5. But what has been a very competitive class here up to this point in this season, and only a few races left to go, so certainly getting into crunch time there. And now we'll take a quick gander at Masters, where Jim Brewster leads over Nick Tullo in P2, comfortable margin there. Andrew Love is slotted in third, with Wayne Buttermore and Alan DeGassis running at your top 5. You can see the rest of your 10 drivers classified, 9 who actually have scored points listed out right there. Just a few moments left to go here in qualifying. It looks like Guido is going to grab another pole here. As you said, Josh, he has brought the thunder and excitement thus far this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely lit a fire under Guido for sure. I'm not sure if my comment was the one that did it. I'd like to think that it was, that he took some of my advice there and he started getting a little bit more pointy, and it's working for him. But either way, it's working for him. He's been able to take a couple wins. He's been right up there in podium positions almost every race. Like I said, there's a bit of anvils here and there for him as well, but had a really good season here so far, I believe. And it looks like he's going to be taking the pole today by a tenth. So that's not nothing around here for sure. Everybody had enough chance to kind of put a lap in, and he was really able to squeeze one out there. So Guido has found something in these Formula Vs, and that's pretty great. We should see, or we will see today if he can hold Tor off, because we know how hard that can be.
Yeah, let's see whether he has the power to contend, or whether this is going to be the classic Oulton Park affair where everybody's packed in like sardines. Everybody's going to try and get to the end of the race without any further incident, but that is a lot easier said than done on a track that feels like it just has a bunch of landmines, claymores waiting for these competitors to take one foul step on and completely ruin their race in the blink of an eye. But let's take a look at your starting grid. Guido Marzucchi going to lead him to green here in round number 10 of this season. Tortello will start on the outside of him in your front row. Darmaid Toomey and Andy Middleton will complete row number 2, with Ethan Orr and Jörg Mani on row number 3. Mani, your pole sitter in Masters here in this race. Michelle Lynn will start this race in P7 next to Jim Brewster. So an all-series admin row number 4. It's Alan DeGassis alongside Andrew Love completing your top 10, and having an all-Masters row number 5. Chris Montgomery and Kurt Nunez will start this race in 11th and 12th. Stevie Wright and Stephen Westcott will start in 13th and 14th. Series admin in one spot. Your Spec 2 pole sitter in another. Brian Hansen and the Spicy Racing team will start this race in P15 next to Gary Kittle in 16th. Wayne Buttermore, the sponsor of today's broadcast, will be in P17 alongside Jason Grider, your Spec 2 championship points leader, in 18th place. And Tosha Gorbanov will round at your 19-car starting grid here for round number 10 of the Formula V Weekend Warriors. So I'll let you all know that if you're enjoying this broadcast here, well, how about you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss out on any of the action here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. And even after this broadcast is done and dusted, before the Weekend Warriors action tomorrow here on SMP, I'm going to take a look at some of our YouTube shorts. But Josh, we're deploying on this formation lap, the final calm before what's going to be a torrid storm for these racers here today.
Yeah, again, this is a place you got to make some good decisions. I know I say that basically every week. It's a bit of a broken record, but it's just the truth around here. Again, there's going to be opportunities, and you're going to have to pick the good ones and throw the bad ones out. And we will see who is the best at that today. It is definitely not going to be easy to get a pass done and get this race completed here today. Not an easy track to race around. So we're almost ready here for the start, and we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited about this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one as the green flag flies and the drivers are on their way, and we're racing here at Oulton Park. Fantastic start from Guido Marzuki. A good start as well for Tortello. You look at Darmaid Toomey slipping back in P number 3. Your top 5 all single file heading off through turn number 1, but as they head their way to the crest and down the hill through 2 into 3, this is when the trouble may start to arise. But for Guido Marzuki, it was everything that he needed to do off the line. Now, though, he's got to be the hole punch, heading our way down the lakeside straightaway for the very first time here in this race. Looks like Tour's got to look for it down the inside, heading off into Island Bend. So we have 3 wide racing. A little bit farther behind, that's Andrew Love and Michelle Lynn in the midst of some 3 wide racing, and the driver they were battling with was Alan DeGassis, I believe. Awesome stuff to see Alan DeGassis really fighting in the early stages of this race. But Tortello now been able to jump into the race lead over Marzuki as they head their way out of 5 into 6.
Yeah, some good racing here right off the bat. Tor is going to take the lead before the end of the first lap. So that's a pretty strong statement there as well. Darmaid Toomey taking a look now at Guido as well, coming into the chicane section here. Yeah, we definitely had a pretty good pack of cars in the midfield there. Looks like they've sorted themselves out, though. A little bit of side-by-side racing here. Darmaid Toomey is going to take that position from Guido before the end of this first lap. Everybody else getting pretty single file into the chicane section there, and it looks like, I don't want to jinx it quite yet, Ron, but I think everybody has made it through this first lap. I don't think we have any takers on a spin or a crash or anything, so we're off to a pretty good start here.
And that's usually what we say right before a driver pile drives into one another, but we haven't seen it yet. It has been a very smooth, calm, cool, and collected start for these competitors. Now that I've stated, that's going to be when stuff really starts to hit the fan. Alan DeGassis and Jim Brewster side by side in the crackle down run into Lodge Corner, turn number 16. This exit of the turn is such a pain in the butt. Probably of all the final turns in the iRacing world, is maybe the one that has the most amount of elevation change. It is insane heading through there.
Yeah, absolutely. In the V, I don't think it's quite as big a deal as it is in some high-powered cars where you're hitting with a little more speed, and that rise and then drop away is the really important part. As you come over that crest and drop away, if you're on the loud pedal right there, it's very easy to spin the car. You sort of have to feather yourself over that, kind of land the car, and then really get back on the gas here. And you are going to get a little light as well in the V over that. I'm sure if you just mashed it through there in the wrong orientation, you could probably spin the car as well. But there are some more high-powered cars that corner is a little bit more difficult to get the exit on. But honestly, getting the entry and the exit on that corner in any car is not an easy task. Like you're saying, it's a very difficult corner to get right. You just want to kind of rush it. You want to go a little faster and a little faster and a little faster. And the car, like, I guess the thing is that the hill will kind of catch the car a little bit as well. So you can throw the car into it, and your brakes are kind of super powered at that moment. And you can, it's hard to judge it sometimes. You can kind of overstep it a little bit. But looking back in the pack here, we're getting a little bit more side-by-side racing. Looks like Chris Montgomery moved his way up a little bit. Michelle Lynn just in front of him. Then Jim Brewster in front of them. Stevie Ray's out there with us today as well. Looks like he's doing well as well. Brian Hansen's going to be, I believe, our first Spec 2 driver here. So things shaking out pretty good here, Ron. Just saw somebody take a big off track in the back, but no crashes yet.
Yeah, no crashes yet, but seeing that moment heading out of turn number 12 of Knickerbrook, heading your way out of the chicane, that is a very awkward turn in all sorts of race cars, of Formula V's being absolutely no exception, as I think something may have gone awry with Tasha Gorbanov, seeing that driver drop down in the 265 car, holding on to P19 at the moment, losing some time to Gary Kittle, has actually fallen now to behind a second, so that is going to be a very unfortunate moment for Gorbanov, losing out on the draft, and that may be a tough road ahead as we see what may have gone down here. Heading out there, that was Gary Kittle, the one that ran wide, heading out of Knickerbrook, and then Gorbanov trying to get the move done around the outside through Clay Hill and Water Tower of turn number 13 and 14. I love how every single turn on this racetrack has a turn number, but Gorbanov really lifting off into Druids, and that's the reason why he's been able to lose out on the time. Patience from the newcomer, not a lot of patience from a driver looking to take the race lead. That's Darmaid Toomey fighting down the inside off into Island Bend over Tortello, and he gets the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Tripping over my cameras a little bit there, but yeah, that was a good, probably one of the better places to get a pass done here. I love that corner so much. You can just huck the car into it if you get it right and kind of slot that tire down low. into that camber and just ride around the corner. And it can be really fun going too wide here. Andrew Love, Chris Montgomery through the chicane section, not the fastest way through there. And you can see now Andrew Love is really under attack from, I believe that is Stevie Ray and Kurt Nunez are going to be all over him now. So that is, again, you got to get these passes done. You got to execute the pass. He's going to go too wide through again. So two wide attempts there for Andrew Love and made it through. So some pretty good driving from everybody there to get through those corners. But he's going to lose out on at least one position there and is really under attack now as he tries to fight back here besides Stevie Ray. We'll go back and have a quick look here. Not a great spot as well to be going side by side, but they're going to give it a shot, Ron.
Yeah, this racetrack is super duper narrow. It looks big in these Formula Vs, but they're basically mosquitoes in the iRacing world. So that definitely shifts the perspective ever so slightly. 2x2. Montgomery getting very close to the back of Michelle Linden, giving a hip check to Jim Brewster.
Jim.
That's drama going on right behind that. Stevie Ray, Brian Hansen, Wayne Buttermore, and Stephen Westcott all coming to blows. Andrew Love gets a piece of that. He's got to tow back to pit lane. Will Stevie, as Andrew Love gets a turn back around in the right direction. Both of them with a meatball flag. It's so inviting to go for a move heading off into Lodge Corner, but sometimes it can end in utter catastrophe. And unfortunately, it was just the field blowing apart there, probably because of what happened right in front involving Jim.
Yeah, I think, and I don't want to place any blame here quite yet, but it looked like that rejoin. I think Jim kind of went off, tried to get back on quickly, and maybe spun the car. We'll see here. So he's going to go off, and then he just lost control is what it is. So, and I think in reaction to that, some drivers got into each other. So unfortunate, not really anybody's fault glaringly there at all. It's just one of those things. There's only so much room on a racetrack, and things are happening in front of you. He tried to get out of the way onto the gravel, lose control. Yeah, unfortunate. Maybe we'll have one more peek there because it did kind of look like it was sort of in reaction to Jim perhaps, but he did a good job of not spearing back onto the track. Let's have a quick look here. So Stevie Ray, you know what? They got into each other before that even happened. That may have been in reaction to what's going on in front of them, but that was pretty much on Stevie and Andrew.
Yeah, I think those two were just in their own little battle, their own little world. I think Stevie was maybe trying to keep it a little bit tight heading off through the final turn to try and avoid whatever may have gone down in terms of the rejoin with Jim Brewster. There's no real good way to rejoin when you go off the circuit hanging into Lodge Corner. You've got Deer Leap of turn 17 right in front of you, so you're always going to be in some kind of trouble when you find yourself in a position like that. But I think everybody did everything in their power, but just contact going on, bad circumstances affecting Stevie and Andrew. Chris Montgomery has also been struck by a falling anvil for himself in the number 33 car. Unfortunate for him too, because he was running in a very good spot. But it's allowed this top pack, this top six pack, to pretty much be uncontested here through into the end of this first third of the race. Darme Toomey and Guido Morzuki going side by side, heading off into one. We see a level of fight out of these racers that you don't usually see. Everybody kind of, I won't say throwing caution to the wind per se, but they have been a bit more aggressive than you occasionally see on these draft-heavy racetracks, where everybody kind of has a gentleman's code just to take it easy.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ron. It does look a little more racy out there, and I think that's just the track. This track just promotes it. It feels so hustly and fast, and you're hustling those corners, and you're braking late, and you're making some, pretty dramatic moves and stuff through corners like this even, they feel dramatic. It feels action-packed, and it gets you going, I think. Same thing with the chicanes as well, hustling through them. I'm the kind of person that when I see something like that, I want to get through it as fast as I can. It's even like, even if I'm walking, through a mall or something and I see a turnstile, I have this tendency to, when something narrows, to just go fast as I can through it for some reason. And I'm not exactly, that's got to be some kind of a racer mentality or something, but I think it happens to drivers here too, where you really want to kind of squeak through these sections and you want to go fast, and it's just action packed. It makes it feel good. You want to get some passes done and so on. I think that's probably why it just promotes racing around here. So pretty good track. Not easy to pass on though, oddly enough, right? It promotes the passing. It wants you to be fast and kind of froggy, but it's not really wide enough to deal with it. So they're doing pretty good so far here, I'd say. We've only lost a driver or two. So yeah, I think we're doing fine.
Yeah, we're doing good for now, and I think what you brought up there about wanting to go fast in a very narrow section, it's pretty much just a law of physics, you know, sticking your thumb into the end of a hose and letting the hose run. It's going to come out like a pressure washer on the other
Exactly,
side.
yeah.
Either way, though, these racers certainly seeing the red mist in an odd sense here. They're field of vision slightly narrow here on this thin racetrack and just duking it out heavily. We'll say, though, even with the side-by-side racing, they aren't losing too much time as Toomey with a sideways snap through one, and he's going to get pile-driven by Maunz, and I think Tortola got collected in that as well. Yes, he did.
Holy cow, Ron. That was not a crash you usually see in a V. That was like high speed, loss of grip, especially from a driver like Darmid Toomey, and that is going to just crack this race wide open now. Andy Middleton's taking the lead, Guido Marzucci behind him, and Ethan Orr now in third place. Heck, even Alan DeGassis and Michelle Lynn might be a part of this race here shortly. So that was a big one, Ron. We're gonna have to go back and have a look at that, but man, we were on board. Got a front row seat for that one.
Yeah, it's very rare that I bring this up in reference to Oulton Park because they're usually quite tame. The curbs, though, can be lethal, and I think that's what may have caught him out. I think Toomey was a little bit too tight on the inside there, going side by side with himself, and Tolo hit the curb, bottomed out, and looped it around. So Toomey, he's pretty much, well, I mean, he's farther back, probably major damage on that car. No meatball flag. Maunz, though, we saw him up in the air. He decided to call it a night shortly thereafter. Yeah, the curb, you can see that car wiggle around a little bit, slides into the path of Tolo, and then Maunz coming in there, nothing that he could do,
York.
Pile driving into that.
Yeah, poor York getting caught out again. You know, York is a really clean, fast driver. He'll turn the screws on you. He drives hard, but he's really clean. I don't think I've seen many drivers get caught up in unfortunate incidents as much as Jorg seems to. And I don't, again, that's probably because he is so pointy, because he is so part of the race all the time, and he's right there racing. But holy cow, that was a big anvil, as we call them around here, for Jorg Maunz. He got absolutely yeeted off track there. That was wild. And that curb, definitely, those little turtles on the inside, and he clipped one of the last ones, one of the worst ones you can clip on exit, and it just hucked the car sideways.
Yeah, small little clip of the curb in the wrong way, and that race car was sent around, and then Maunz was sent flying. It has blown this battle up quite a lot, and now we got to consider the championship implications as well, because Tortello well farther back than he may have had in mind, and Guido with a fantastic opportunity to make up some positions, as you can see that moment there from Jorg. Hit the front end, and I think clipped the rear and just sent that car up like it was a diesel-powered pogo stick stuck on the back of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it just went flying there for sure. That was a massive crash, definitely, and something you're just not expecting in front of you like that. There's absolutely nothing he could have done there. Just car jackknifes in front of him, and absolutely nowhere to go. Guido is now going to take the lead here. He's probably got a fairly good chance at taking this one now. But you know, if Andy Middleton or Ethan Orr have anything to say about it, that won't be the case. Looking fairly ominous in the background there. Holy cow, we got some rain cometh by the looks of it, but I don't think we're going to get any today. But it's looking fairly ominous in the sky in the background there. I'm not sure if that's just iracing, but we're looking a little bluer in this direction here, so I guess it depends on which way the wind be blowing today. But yeah, Guido out front here now. He's going to have to just kind of hold on to her here. Andy Middleton in that HP car, actually not having the HP livery on it this weekend, but running the same bottle colors as the HP car does, with the candy corn right behind him there. So it's all food, and we're looking good.
Yeah, I think if you eat candy corn covered in HP sauce, what happens is Guido's team name. That's
you fart. You got to fart. Yeah.
That sounds like a lethal combination. We'll say though, talking about the weather, pretty cool in terms of the ambient temperatures, 65 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's somewhat low. Track temps, meanwhile, at 95. So these tires are probably feeling a little bit hot at the moment. I think they would kind of welcome the rain. Well, not really, but the tires certainly would. The drivers, I don't think would. And I will say, on the subject of rain, I would like to issue out a formal apology to anybody on the East Coast, and especially here in the Northeast. I said a couple of weeks ago, right as the bad snow that we had couple of weeks ago here in the city of Philadelphia started to melt. Oh, as Tolo with the sideways snap hang through turn number 3 nearly loses it, but he's now going to be side by side with Jim Brewster. But now I said that we're maybe approaching the worst, like the end of the worst of winter, and we're getting into spring here in New England and the Northeast, and now we're going to be hit with a bomb cyclone, and I think we're going to be getting like 14 inches of snow. So to anybody who's a little bit upset about that, you have me to blame.
Hey, some crazy names for things out there. Bomb cyclones and stuff. Holy cow, man. I live in, I live in Revelstoke, British Columbia, Canada, and we get some insane weather here. We definitely, or we technically live in the rainforest. We get about 27 feet of snow a year, high winds. Our infrastructure's built up real good, so we don't usually, lose power or anything like that, but it's pretty crazy out there. But Bomb Cyclone, that sounds pretty cool. It sounds like the name of a band or a good song or something like that. But I think we've lost Tortello here at some point. So we didn't lose him, sorry, but he really, really went back here. So I'm going to see, well, you know what? No, this may have happened a little bit earlier here, so I might have to track that down. We did miss a couple things here in this mid-pack. Tor slipping back.
Yeah, so things have gone sour for Tor. We saw him get collected in that moment with Darme Toomey.
Oh, right,
Toomey
yes.
lost it on the inside with him and then had that off-track excursion hanging out of turn number 3. So he's still in with a good shout of finishing inside the top 10 as he gets moved on Jim Brewster heading off into turn 16. But it's still not the race that he probably had in mind. But at this point, it is damage control as we get into the second half of this 10th race of the season. And Bomb Cyclone is a pretty cool name. That's what they do call it. It's a powerful nor'easter bomb cyclone. So we see some driving down a little bit wiggly heading out of the
John
first
Deere
turn.
there.
Yeah. Close quarter stuff for sure. This racetrack is a bit of a menace. The lattice on the outside, it may look nice to drive over the lattice. It may seem quite cozy in a garden, but on a racetrack it can be a little bit brutal. There's only one racetrack I think here in the States that I think of when I think of having lattice on the side of the road. Whoa. And it's the Kink at Road America. That was nearly a disaster, breaking out Jason Ryder, getting so close to the back of Kurt Nunez's car, heading off into turn number 5. They're not going to be side by side on exit, heading their way off through the tight, twisty, and fiddly first chicane, and understandably backing out of it.
Yeah, getting a little bit frenetic there for sure. Making a good decision, I think, probably to back out of it there and not force it too much. Is honestly what you want to do. You got to wait. There's not a lot of time left, so it is, you do want to start pushing here soon, but you got to make those good decisions and sometimes just pull out of it every once in a while when it's not looking like it's going to work for you. You got Jorg Mahani asking me in the chat here, did you build your beer sled yet in ice? No beer sleds, but we do have, I used to because there's so much snow. I would just put my beer outside of the door and just stick it in the snow because the snow would come halfway up our door around here sometimes. And I just opened the door and grab a beer right out of the snow. And, and that was kind of the way we used our coolers out here. We've actually built like ice bars and stuff outside and everything too. So we had like a whole ice bar system and sitting out there and ice couches and everything else for a little while. We get that much snow out here, but no ice sled yet. Nope.
See, we don't have moments like that here in the city of Philadelphia because chances are somebody would take a flamethrower to it here in the city. But when we had the other pretty powerful snow, I think it was 10 inches that we got same weekend as the Daytona 24. So I guess this was now about a month ago. I decided that it was a great idea as I was actively shoveling to ask my dad to go into the house and grab me an ice-cold can of root beer. And drinking an ice-cold root beer in like 10-degree weather while shoveling snow felt like the most, it felt like that was the most I've felt in control of my life since I last hopped out of the cart back in 2023. But Michelle holding on to P5 at the moment. That was an odd segue. Alan Gass is right up in front. These two kind of running in no man's land after we saw that incident break out, heading off into Lodge Corner. But they are still going to look to try and duke it out. They can't really focus on the drivers farther up the road. They would have to hope for a Christmas miracle to break out here right towards the end of February. But thankfully for them, while they cannot close up to the drivers farther up in front, they are kind of untouchable to Tortello behind.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's going to be enough time there either for Tor, but you never know. And yeah, I think you're also right. Not sure they're going to be in touch with this lead pack either. Although, you know, race isn't over yet, and many things can happen between now and then. We could end up having some more cars in the rhubarb here by the end, but looking pretty clean so far here. Been a fairly clean race, actually. There's been some kind of big accidents there, but our start was great. You know, I don't think we've had too many starts where there isn't at least one car facing the opposite direction or having some sort of terminal damage of some kind on opening lap or two. And we had a couple pretty clean laps there until things started to get racy. And that's kind of how this track is, I think. Once you really start to try to pass people and start to look for those advantages, you can find disadvantages pretty quickly, and that's what we saw from some of our drivers. But Guido Marzucci in the fart car, you know, talking about him in the run-up here, getting pointy, getting a little faster, a little more aggressive. Didn't really need to today. He just kind of hung out there. He kept the pressure on to be sure, but kind of just opened up for him, and now he's just got to hold on to it till the end.
Looking now, Andy Middleton with an off-track moment heading his way out of turn number 3. He's maybe got to fall into the crutches of Ethan Orr right in tow. That nearly ended in tears for him, but thankfully going to maintain that second position. Losing out on a bit of time, though, to Guido. Can't worry about that too much. If you have more off-track moments like that, you're going to lose touch with him. He's going to drive off into the sunset. Now looking at side-by-side racing, Kurt Nunes, Jason Grider, and Brian Hansen. This is a fight for the final 3 spots inside of the top 10. One Masters racer and 2 drivers in Spec 2 battling for the Spec 2 lead as well. So this is intense. We got to figure out how this battle is going to shake out. Grider, who started a little bit farther in the back, if my memory serves me correctly. Both he and Hansen started a little bit farther behind everybody else in the field, but they've been able to eke their way through the smoke, the chaos, and the dust, and currently on track to both finish this race in the top 10 and battle it out for the Spec 2 win.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. So Kurt Nunes up 4 positions, Jason Grider up 9 positions from the beginning, Brian Hansen up 5, Wayne Buttermore up 6. Yeah, there's some movers in the mid-pack there for sure, so definitely picked up some positions here. Got to keep it clean until the end and be able to come home with a pretty good result from their respective starting positions there for sure. A little bit spread out here. We got a couple packs kind of racing together. But pretty normal standard fare for this part of the race, I would say. Now is the time, you know, you kind of, so when you earn your bucks here in the last little bit, you just got to hold it together, make sure those lap times stay up, keep the tempo up. You know, I heard somebody say the other day, you got to buy a ticket to the end of a race. You can't just kind of go halfway through it. You got to have that ticket for the very end to make it work. And hopefully Guido's got that one today, but I think Andy Middleton and Ethan Orr may have something to say about that by the end. And this is the kind of track where you can intimidate somebody into a mistake. You can get side by side and make something happen, as we have seen.
It was right as we were talking about the battling maybe intensifying between Jason Grider and Brian Hansen. Something's gone down for him. 2 seconds now, the margin between those competitors. Had to have been some sort of off-track excursion potentially. That 3-car fight now been broken up into a 2-1 as Guido running a little bit wide, hanging out of turn number 5. The mistakes can pile up very easily here on this track as we see a moment here with Jim Brewster. Even series veterans and series admins like Jim proving that this racetrack has fallen now into the territory where you can very easily make mistakes and feel a sense of overconfidence here around this circuit as here comes Middleton fighting to the outside of Guido. That's heading off into the hit slop chicane of 10, 11, and 12. And it looks like he was able to hold on to that. Meanwhile, just saw in the back a shot, Andrew Love looked like he was going about 3 miles an hour down the lakeside straightaway. Not sure what put him in that position in the first place, but he is very well farther in the back.
Yeah, I'll have a look here. We have an off-track report, so it looks like maybe it was on his own. Oh, I thought that curb was going to flick him there. Nope, it's going to be the outside curb, and he's going to lock it down into the grass. And, yeah, so it didn't hit anything, but that's going to lose him a whole buttload of time.
Yeah, and so for the first time in about 21 years, my eyes have actually proven to be a good asset to me. Tune in when I'm 42 for the next time it happens. Yeah, they're actually working. It's just my glasses. Guido Marzucchi, still your race leader, but he's starting to feel more and more pressure from these drivers behind. I think it is fair to say Middleton and Orr have been running behind for so long, and they've probably been strategizing how exactly they can make this move happen as one more driver that I do want to bring up just caught my eye, who set the fastest lap of the race. Tortello with the quick time, and he's been able to close up that gap between himself and the other duo of Alan DeGassis and Michelle Lynn. So right as we were discounting that as being a two-car fight to the end, Tortello playing us like a fiddle.
Yeah, looks like he's going to have a chance here for sure, and he's been moving real quick. Honestly, if I was these two drivers, I would probably just let Tor through and then try to attach on. Looks like probably that's what Michelle Lynn did there. He's like, all right, I know he's got a ton of pace. I'm going to try to attach to him and see if I can get by Alan DeGassis when he does it. That's what I would be thinking here. See if you can kind of play tail gunner. Whoa, a little bit of a speed differential there between the two of them going into that chicane, but they're able to manage it. But yeah, if I was Michelle Lynn, I'd be looking for this as an opportunity here to try to squeeze by Alan DeGassis as well. Hopefully, we'll be able to get through together. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, though. Going to wedge Alan DeGassis a bit. A little bit of compromised line here, so she might have a chance. We'll jump on board. Looks like that one's not going to work quite yet. So we're back to that battle. Tor is going to take the two of them there in about a quarter of a lap, so not bad.
And getting close to the end of this race, too, with less than 4.5 minutes now on the clock. Guido Marzucchi going to be eyeballing how exactly he can hold on to this spot. Will he have to withstand the challenge from Andy Middleton, or is Ethan Orga look to try and stick his nose into this before Middleton has a chance? Marzucchi running wide, heading out of turn number 16, feeling a little bit of pressure, and the pressure is starting to ramp up throughout the entirety of this field. We look at this fight, which is certainly going to be intense. Tullo has been able to jump in front of DeGassis and Lynn, but I know one thing about Alan DeGassis. He is a racer that's always going to go for it, and even though he holds on to a comfortable margin in that Masters category right now, you know that he's going to look to try and fight and stick it to Tortello between now and the end of this race. And it's like I say, a very nice looking car there. We've got, in an odd sense, you've got 3 different shades of purple on 3 different race cars. Tortello with that sort of like, I could probably best describe that color as like Gatorade grape purple, and then you've got Alan DeGassis with a nice like Hoosier purple, and Michelle Lynn a little bit like a brighter like pinkish purple. So I am a fan of purple on race cars. You don't see it too often, but it can be done well.
You got Barney purple on Michelle Lynn's car there. I think that's the only one I can think of anyway. My little baby sister used to just love Barney, so I remember that color fairly well from watching hours and hours and hours and hours of that particular show when I was a younger man, and my sister was a little girl. But on to lots of purple out there for sure. One of my favorite colors, Alan DeGassis is purple, looking real good for sure. It's like it looks like it's business there for sure. Good paint job, nice chrome finish on that one. Should mention actually, TW3 Paints kind of does a lot of paints for us here around Slow Motion Broadcasting. So if you're looking for a cool paint, you can hit us up on the Discord, hit us up anytime there. We can get you the details for TW3, and he'll be able to get you an awesome paint job for your rig. But back up front here, Guido Marzucchi still holding on to the lead. Andy Middleton having a look on the outside there, just pretty much a press square to intimidate type of move, hoping you can get your competitor in their mirrors looking at you and maybe make a mistake or something, or even just to let them know, hey, I'm probably going to be coming through here at some point. Get ready for it. Keep an eye on your mirrors here because I'm coming.
And the discussion about purple has ignited a discussion in the YouTube chat as well. Brian
Plum for Thor. Crown Royal. There we go. Of course.
Tam saying plum for Tor. The Crown Royal purple. Crown Royal Purple is a very nice shade, and that was usually my dad's beverage of choice, still is, although he's switched off into drinking Crown Royal Peach. See, I wouldn't be able to talk like this before, but now that I am of legal drinking age, I can mention the existence of alcohol on the air. As long as I don't do it on the air, then I think we have some problems, which is probably stuns people. People usually hear the way that I act and talk on the air, and people usually assume that I am not sober, but as it turns out, I am. This is just the kind of individual that I happen to be.
Well, Ron's not on anything.
Another purple car. You'd think.
Yeah, another purple car. Yeah, it has actually. He says, there's Dan Szynski here saying their dad really did pick his race car based on the Crown Royal bag color. And I got to be honest, It's just a good purple, and and with the yellow or gold piping and stuff there, it just works. There used to be when I was in middle school, we used to carry our marbles and stuff around in Crown Royal bags. My parents didn't really drink at all, so I was the kid at school that didn't have the Crown Royal bag for his marbles, and I always felt a little bit left out. But it may be better that they didn't drink, I guess. Not that they any problems there at all, but yeah, lots of purple out there, lots of Crown Royal bags happening, and I'm actually feeling a little bit silly that I didn't notice that that's very clearly Crown Royal purple.
It is a lovely shade, but it may be a purple car battling farther behind. Lots of purple cars, but there's one purple car leading this race to take the white flag. One more lap of racing action left to go here at Oulton Park, and it's Guido Marzucchi holding on to that top spot over Andy Middleton, over Ethan Orr. These three going to look to try and bring the thunder in this last lap fight, as they will a little bit farther behind, although I think Tortello may potentially have DeGassis and Michelle Lynn's number there. So we'll keep our eyes focused up at the front where Marzucchi is still leading. Middleton, I think, maybe tried to go for the move off into turn number 3 because I could see that gap go down, but that ballooned out quite a lot to 0.3 of a second, but he is still right there to pounce. Closing up that gap once more. We see a replay here of Jason Grider. That's a moment for him, but Marzucchi and Middleton still very close out there on the racetrack. I don't think Middleton was able to make that move stick, and yes, it did, and I think they didn't go side by side because I think Middleton knows that this is not the time to pass. You got to go for it, heading down the back straightaway, off into the second chicane. If you can get the move done there, you'll be golden. Fine to get a move done off into turn number 5, but that won't really play out too much. Another battle here with Andrew Love and Tosha Gorbanov. That's the fight for a P13 at the moment. The final two cars out there on the circuit. Keep an eye on those two who have had some pretty torrid races in their own right. But Guido able to withstand the challenge from Andy Middleton, heading his way off through the chicane. Middleton just not able to make something work, and now Ethan Orr may be smelling a little bit of blood in the water, trying to get a move done on Middleton. So let's keep an eye on those two in the ascent up the hill through into Druid's Corner for the final time here in this race. Guido looks on track for a win. Middleton and Orr look to complete your podium. Tortello looks like he's had the number in that battle, as Talo, DeGassis, and Michelle Lynn still running in the same spots that they were about one lap ago. But here we go, fending out side by side. Middleton looking for the move around the outside into Lodge Corner, not able to get the move done, and now Orr gonna look to try and fight back. But Guido Marzucchi, for the third time here this season, gonna come across a stripe to win it here in the V's.
Yeah, great final lap there. Good little last-ditch attempt there from Ethan Orr. Looks like he's going to pick up a second place. Tortello going to pick up that 4th. Andy Middleton in 3rd. Alan DeGassis 5th. Michelle Lynn's going to pick up a well-deserved 6th place there, I believe. Yep, 6th place. Jim Brewster coming across the line here. Kurt Nunez after that. Jason Grider, a little bit off tracks there. I believe he had an off track or two, and it kind of slowed him down a little, so he lost a little bit of track position there in the final part of the race. Brian Hansen going to come across the line here. Wayne Buttermore, as well as Stephen Westcott, Andrew Love behind that, and then our new driver of Tosha Gorbanov here as well. So pretty good race today. We did lose some drivers after all. In the end there, we lost about 5 drivers here over the course of that race, but a pretty good one. And Guido is going to take another win here. So good job from Guido there. We're he's getting pointy for sure.
Yeah, it has been an awesome season thus far for Guido, and with Tullo finishing in 4th, it's not going to be a huge swing in the championship, but it'll still be one regardless. You're getting to the point, though, where you do have to consider whether or not Tortello may be getting into championship clinching contention as we head off into the next round of the season and the final 2 weeks of this season in the not too far off future. But I'm a little bit worried to see what kind of jumping and chaos shenanigans we may have. Usually it's in the runoff area of turn number 3 when they have the little like barrier set up, the tire barrier and the hill to separate your run down the first of the 2 back straightaways and then the actual backstretch straightaway. So let's see whether they're going to do that or whether they're going to have some other disaster strike. Maybe it's the final turn. No, it looks like I think I nailed it right on the head. I think we're going to see them stack it up heading at turn number 3 and go for the jump where you can very easily lawn dart it too.
Yeah, I think so. We should see. Oh, they're slowing down here, actually. Watch that curve on the inside, and then we should get a straight run here into. Or are they going to park it? Nope. Nope. Guido's holding.
Maybe they're going to have a little like.
I think he's trying to get everybody bunched up here. Oh,
Yeah,
Michelle
here
Lynn
we
says,
go.
nope, I'm having none of that, and goes for it.
Oh boy, howdy! Here we go, heading off into the runoff.
There it is. Doink.
Oh, that was.
Oh, great camera angle.
Oh, look at Guido. Oh, look at Chaser Grider. Oh.
Nice, some good air
boy.
off that. There's a good one. Now, you don't always get a bank quite like that to play on. I don't think Tosha Gorbanov is gonna know. Do you think they'll know? No, probably not. Maybe they'll see the cars in wreckage here in pieces. But I think Michelle, is that Andy Middleton on his lid? This is dangerous to do. Oh, we're gonna break our cameras. Don't break the cameras, Josh. Oh, we've broken the cameras, and. I probably shouldn't have done that. For some reason, you click on a car that's upside down every once in a while, and it just busts the cameras, but we're back. Back now to live pictures. Good little burn them down at the end there. Yeah, you don't always get a berm that's quite that good to launch the cars off every race, do you, Ron? But I think we probably have some results to get to here, and then we can move on to a couple interviews.
Yeah, so let's take a look at those race results, because I'm sort of terrified to see any sort of more jumping shenanigans here. It's just, I don't know how many times I've seen a Formula V car strike the moon in real life. Oh, in the sim, I know it's been dozens of times. In the sim, in real life, I should say, it's been zero. Yeah, man, with the amount of times that I'm slurring my words here, you would think that I was under the substance of pretty severe alcohol poisoning. But let's take a look at your race results, shall we, before I get my tongue wrapped around my teeth anymore. Guido Marzuki going to win this race over Ethan Orr in P2. Andy Middleton that will round at your podium in third, and that's Tortello finishing directly behind in fourth. Alan DeGassis wins it in the Masters category, finishing this race in P5. Michelle Lynn is right behind in sixth, with Jim Brewster in seventh. Kurt Nunez will finish this race in P8 when everything is said and done. And then from there, finishing right behind is your Spec 2 winner of Jason Grider. He looks to be on track for a championship crown here. Brian Hansen had some falling anvils come down on him. Will round out your top 10. Yeah,
and then in 11th place, we have Wayne Buttermore in today's sponsor, actually, Wayne Buttermore, BFI Consulting. Thank you so much for that, Wayne. Stephen Westcott in 12th place. In 13th, Andrew Love. In 14th, we have Tasha Gorbanov. In 15th, we have Gary Kittle. In 16th, Darmid Toomey. 17th, Jorg Mani. Chris Montgomery is going to round out 18th. And I believe Stevie Ray, getting, unfortunately, an anvil falling on him there, is going to round out the field in P19. Whoa! Andy Middleton just rocketing to the moon there in the background. Some pretty good pictures there of the crashing. Always fun to do that around Oulton Park for sure. Lots of cars on their lid there.
Yeah, so as we see some drivers upside down on the back straightaway and an unrecognizable pile of metal pulp, we'll have a chat with some drivers. I think we'll start the interviews off by having a chat with a man that we were meant to speak with before we got too lost into it. It was about 2.5 minutes left in qualifying when I was going to drag him in, but he left probably to get his pre-race festivities prepared. But we will have a chat with the sponsor of today's broadcast, Wayne Buttermore, now joining us here in the broadcast booth. Wayne, welcome in. First of all, thank you for sponsoring this race, and secondly, how was it out there for you here today at Oulton Park?
Well, actually, thank you. My pleasure, by the way, for sponsoring. It's always a delight to be able to contribute to the community and to Stevie Ray's Weekend Warrior programs here, because they're so competitive and really such a great bunch of people to be racing with. I found it a little bit of a challenge. I was able to stay with one of the mid-pack groups for a while, developed a little bit of pace with that gives me some additional confidence. Finished basically mid-pack in the Masters. We had a nice turnout today for Masters, by the way. I think we had 7 people out there, and that probably was equivalent to what we had in the S1 group as well. So it was a good day overall.
Yeah, it was a good race, and nice to see the strength of the field out there as well. I want to ask you about this track. We've been here several times now. I always feel like we're venturing off into the unknown, but at this point we really aren't. This track is a consistent feature of this schedule. How do you enjoy it?
Well, I like the track in general. I still find both chicanes to be a bit of a challenge, and that's where there's probably a lot of room for me to improve on. But I like the track. It flows well, and I'm beginning to develop some setup capabilities that's helping me get around the track a little bit better. So I like it.
It's a really fun track, and in these Formula Vs, it puts on some absolutely amazing racing. But Wayne, next time out here in the series, getting into the final few weeks of the season, which is a little bit shocking to say, but for the next round of the championship, we are going to be racing at Okayama. So another kind of iRacing staple track. What are your thoughts heading there?
I always enjoy Okayama. It's a fun track to drive. I think I do reasonably well with pace and staying with the group, so we'll see what next week brings.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you out there on the racetrack there, Wayne. Thank you for joining us in the booth, and as always, we'll let you give any thank yous or shout-outs.
Well, as usual, to the administrators of our league, Stevie Ray, for putting this whole program together. And as I usually do each week, I make it a point to thank my wife for giving me the few minutes that we need to get this done each week. So, and by the way, you and Josh up in the booth there. I got Ron right
Thanks,
now. Right?
Man. Yep, that's Ron.
Okay, good deal. Thank you guys up in the booth for putting on a great show.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you as
it.
well,
Our
Wayne.
pleasure.
It's always a treat covering these races, and nice to have you here in the booth. And we'll see you next time out at Okayama.
Sounds good. See you next week, guys.
Sounds good. That right there was Wayne Buttermore, our sponsor for today's broadcast. And Josh, I'll let you have the next interview. Who do you want to have a chat with?
I think I need to pull Guido in here and have a chat with Mr. Marzucci for continuing over and over and over again here to impress. So Guido, you've been impressing quite a bit in the last little while here. You've definitely had the pace. We were mentioning, I was talking at the run-up of the show there that I mentioned, I can't remember if it was near the end of last season or the beginning of this season, just mentioning that you had pace out there and you're always there. You're always in third, fourth, fifth, kind of lurking around. But lately, I was saying that, you just need to get a little more aggressive, a little bit more pointy. And that's, I think, what we're seeing out there. You're making moves happen. You're getting wins. It's great to see, man. Tell us how you feel.
Oh, well, it feels good. 2 in a row, it's a very good feeling, which I haven't experienced ever. So it's the first time. And
enjoy it.
It feels good. I knew I had some pace here. I love this track, as I said last week. I know that I'm kind of good in here, but he's a Thor home track, I guess. So I knew that he was he was here to win the race. So pole position was unexpected because my pole lap I completely screwed the shell's oil, but I kept pushing and I nailed the first chicane and I got pole position. That was unexpected at first. Then the race I made a small mistake on the first chicane on lap 1, so I lost a couple of positions. I ended up third, and Thor was running quite defensive early in the race, and their mate was trying to get around him, so I just sit there waiting for something to happen. And I got lucky because it happened, and I wasn't involved by inches, I guess, because I got a 4x for that from iracing. So I have to watch the replay, but probably I was really, really, really close to be involved in that. But I got through, and I knew that from that point on, I needed to run without making mistakes and a bit defensive. So I really raced defensively the whole race, trying to stay ahead of Andy and Ethan. Both of them always really, really fast. And it worked, and yeah, I'm happy. It's good for keeping second place in the championship standings, and yeah,
Awesome.
it worked out. Yeah, first of the terrestrial, second
Nice.
place, first of the terrestrial.
Right on. Hey, well, you're poking up into that territory now. You've been flirting with the alien territory there for sure. I believe. Where are we headed next? I just brain farted. Is it Okayama? I believe we're headed to Okayama. Yeah, Okayama next. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Guido, that is one of your favorite tracks. I think it's a lot of people's favorite track. We do go there quite a bit. How are you expecting that one's going to turn out for you?
It's pretty much like here in Oulton Park. I love the track. I know that I can be quite good there also, especially in the last sector, the more technical one, the slowest sector of the track, with the couple of hairpins that there are before the last stretch. But there is a very long backstretch there where everything can happen. It's really a possibility to get into the first hairpin in 3 wide, and there it's just it's mostly a matter of luck to keep it clean and to not be involved in and not cause and not be involved in any shenanigans. But yeah, it's one of my favorites, and we will see. I'm looking forward to that race also, but I'm sure that Thor will keep it really, really hard for everyone, because a couple of races without winning, I mean, yeah, he will do everything to make it change.
It's been a while,
as soon as possible,
win it a bit.
and he's capable of doing that. I mean, he's the best around here. He's been unlucky today. It's always a great pleasure to race with him. He's a very nice guy. I love race with him. I learned a lot from him, and it's. I mean, I learned a lot from everyone on this league, and that's what makes this league the best league around.
Yep. Yep, I agree. Weekend Warriors, you get lots of help around here. Really good community throughout all the different disciplines here in the FF and the SRF, as well as the V. And of course, if anybody out there wants to join up in these races, we are open join ups. You can join up. It's free. Come race with us. We have a blast out here. One of the best communities you can be a part of. Across those cars, and it spawns out into other cars. I did a 12-hour event with some people I met through here as well just yesterday. So Guido, we are headed to Okayama next time. This was a great race today. Who'd you like to thank here before we let you go?
As usual, every single person that makes this possible. So Stevie, Jim, and Michelle for running the league. You for the broadcast. SMB is always on spot for that. All the drivers, as you said, is a great community, so every one of them deserve a big thank you. Wayne for sponsoring this race, so for making the broadcast possible, and as usual, Team Ginetto, Forza Team Ginetto.
Awesome. Right on, Guido. Great win today. Good to see you up at the pointy end, and we'll catch you next week, man. Oh, we'll catch you tomorrow, actually, on FF and SRF as well, I think.
Tomorrow, yeah.
They're back. They're both back tomorrow. Awesome. Right on. So we'll see you then producing, Guido. Thank you so much, man. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and that right there was Guido Marzucchi, our race winner here today. And for the last interview of the day, we'll bring in Spec 2 winner who's looking to have some championship aspirations. Jason Gridner now joining us here in the booth. Jason, welcome in. Well done on the Spec 2 class win here today at Oulton Park. How was it out there?
A little hectic. Kind of like doing the Kenny Rogers and six-pack thing where I just kind of wake up and I'm like late for the track. So,
just get it done.
I just had to sprint in here and catch a ride.
Right on.
And show up. I basically did 2 laps in qualifying, and those were the first 2 laps I did today. And obviously, I had practiced a little bit last night, so I was kind of okay with that. And didn't set a real good time, and started from the back, and just through a lot of luck and attrition, I guess, made my way up a couple 10 spots, 9 spots. So it worked out. Just had to be patient.
Hey, peeking your way through the smoke, the chaos, and the dust here at this racetrack, and works out well for you. I want to ask you about this track, because it is very, very narrow. It's an old school racetrack. Do you think that's part of the reason why we always see some good racing here?
I think yes. I think it leads to both good racing and a little bit of chaos. Most everybody has a fair bit of experience here too. This is another one of those learning tracks, I guess. I wouldn't say learner track. It's a little more intense than that, but everybody has a fair bit of experience here, and everybody has a decent amount of pace. And so it makes it difficult to pass on pure pace. You're gonna have to either force a mistake out of somebody or just get lucky and get a good run on somebody coming out of a corner where they just slip up a little bit, or they have moments with each other and end up behind you all of a sudden. I know it was interesting getting to row with Tor for a few minutes while he was coming back through the field and getting past everybody. And don't know 100% what happened there yet. I'll have to go back and watch the replay, but yeah, just a good race overall though. I do like this track, and sometimes it's hard to get that across that I actually do care for this place and do enjoy it, even though I don't have the pace here that some of my other racers do.
I mean, you had some good pace here today, coming back from not a lot of practice at all, and walking away with the class win. Next time out, though, we're going to be running at Okayama. What are your thoughts heading there?
I always like going and visiting the old Ada circuit, as it were. Again, another place where people have lots of experience. It's a good draft track on that back straight and the front straight for that matter. It'll be interesting to see. Usually, I'm kind of doing the best I can to stay in the S2 points lead right now, and I think that may start changing here in the next couple of weeks as the drops come in. But I always enjoy going to that track and running there. And again, it's just one of those places people have so much experience, it makes it hard to find seconds and find tenths of a second to get around somebody or get past them.
Yeah, and you mentioned the whole thing about this track kind of being one where you can learn from. I think Okayama is a bit of a learner track, but still has its own little twist and flair to it that does make it a very interesting ride. But Jason, we'll let you give any thank yous or shout outs before we let you go.
First off, I'm going to thank my family for putting up with this crazy hobby of mine and giving me the time to practice and do well. And shout out to Wayne for sponsoring today. We always appreciate it. And Wayne's just such a damn good guy. I always enjoy running with him and being in the league. Thanks out to Stevie and Michelle and Jim for running this league, running this tight ship, and setting those expectations of good quality racing, and even more respect for your other racers. And always enjoy that. And thank you guys for putting this on and broadcasting this and giving everybody a good laugh and helping break down the entertainment for everybody, and giving us this platform as well. We always appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always our treat, man. We love covering the racing, and I love being a little bit of a doofus on the air for everybody for a little bit of comic relief. But Jason, thank you for joining us in the booth, man. Thank you for the kind words. Well done on the other class win, and we'll see you next time out at Okayama.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you as well. That right there was
Thanks,
Jason Grider, our one finisher of the Spec 2 drivers. I nearly said that the other way, but Josh, we always expect some good racing here at Oulton Park, and exciting racing at Oulton Park we certainly got.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like we said in the beginning, sorry, my little dash down here, my wiener dog has heard something and decided to bark at nothing in the background here. But yeah, I love this place. I love driving around here. We always have really good races around here as well. The place just races good. They don't build tracks like this anymore. It's a real shame, actually, but super fast, sports car track. That's always fun to visit. Off to Okayama next time. We do have some upcoming shows. I have to apologize, having a bit of problems with our upcoming shows bot at the moment, and we're missing a show or two, Ron. I'll let you grab this while I try to quiet my wiener dog down.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. We'll let you know about all the action coming up here on SMB. Test my knowledge about the inner workings of this company. Tomorrow, we have got a Weekend Warriors doubleheader. The time is a bit incorrect. It's going to be at 12:45 a.m. Eastern Time for the return of the Formula Ford Weekend Warriors at Navarra. That track is one that I'm a little bit iffy on, but the drivers will have to tackle that for the next round of the Formula Fords. The Spec Racer Fords as well going to be running at the Nordschleife. We go from Oulton Park to Navarra to the Nürburgring Nordschleife in 3 Weekend Warriors races in the same weekend. Hey, if you want to be a Weekend Warrior, you've got to be a very versatile race car driver indeed. We also have XSLR running now. I will say there has been a change in plans. Of course, a couple of weeks ago, if you're tuned in with the XSLR world, there was a canceled race, postponed race, I should probably say, because of the Super Bowl. So we're not actually going to be racing at Spa, although that will be the season finale in 2 weeks' time, not next weekend, but the weekend after this weekend. However, for the Formula 3s that they are running there, you can catch the action at Road America. Later on that night as well, on Sunday evening, we've got the Liberty Bell Buddy Race. That's going to be really, really fun. Those fine folks from Liberty Bell are the same crew from the Philly Region SCCA that I was a member of for many, many moons. Still a member, although I haven't turned a lap in a Philly Region event since 2022. The American Muscle Series will be running at the Miami Autodrome off the back of a race at Homestead, Miami, just earlier on this week, as well as on Tuesday. SRG F4 at Circuit Zandvoort. SRG F3 will be at Silverstone on the 2008 scan of the Grand Prix circuit. So if you're in the mood for some action heading off into what used to be turn number 1, unless you're a Max Verstappen fan, of which you may have PTSD thinking about that turn, that will be the action to tune into this upcoming Wednesday. We also have the Array Esports Club Racing League running for group number 5. Get to see the lovely return of the Volkswagen Jettas. Those cars actually have I think it's a tetradecahedron steering wheel. It's about 25 sides instead of being perfectly circular. Weekend Warriors Formula Vs will of course be at Okayama next time out with that. The Formula Fords running at Silverstone. So a lot of action to look forward to here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. Gives you a very good reason to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never missed out on any of it. But as to this broadcast here today for round number 10 of the Formula V Weekend Warriors here at Oulton Park, that will just about do it. So for myself, Ron Maunz, Joshua Wilkie working the comms at the cams with me on today's show, and Joshua's dog making a surprise appearance as well. I say thank you all so very much for tuning into the action here on Slow Motion Broadcast. We love Scully. But say thank you all so very much for tuning into the action at the dog show later on here in this broadcast. And we hope to see you all wherever it is in the not too distant future.